Welcome back to the Iron Insight. Thank you for starting your week off right with the Iron Insight every Monday morning at 4 a.m. I'm Bryn Welds,
And I'm Andrew Nichols with Southern Leatherworks.
and today we have no guest. We're just doing a little check-in. I think this is episode 31 is what it'll be. 30 weeks straight we've uploaded a podcast. Oh, we skipped 1 week.
We did skip 1 week, but we'll it's 30. It's whatever.
Yeah.
We can claim it.
Yeah. But this is kind of just going to be a check-in talking about where we're at with the podcast, where we're at in life, near future plans, far future plans. And
Yeah.
so on.
So, Brandon, what's been your favorite part about doing this whole podcast thing so far? I mean, we're 30 episodes in. We've had guests ranging from Bob Moffat and everybody else under Bob Moffat because Bob Moffat's top tier, but that's besides the point, y'all. I mean, what's been your favorite part about it?
Man, it's been like meeting everybody
Mm.
because I knew of everybody before. I can't think of a guest that I didn't know of actually
Yeah.
before the podcast, but I knew of them, didn't really know them. Like Zen, I was tight with Zen, but
Yep.
didn't know his career path and all that. And also being able to learn from guys like Bob, Brian Legalio, Chris from Wilbros, and Nathan Montez spitting some business knowledge. It's just been cool to be able to learn and watch the podcast grow at the same time and meet all these new people. And, like in the past FabTechs that we've been to, which is coming up in 3 weeks, this Orlando one, at the past ones, we kind of knew some people kind of knew us, but I think this is kind of gotten us familiarized with a bunch more.
Absolutely. It's going to be definitely interesting because, like you said, my first FabTech, I mean, I kind of knew some people. You knew people, and then I didn't know them, and then I knew a couple people, and you didn't know them. But I think this time around, we'll be pretty well rounded on who's who and what's their name. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, and pretty excited to see Dabs. His podcast was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That
His
was
was
a
one. His was one of those podcasts where we didn't even have to talk. He just kind of led the
yeah.
podcast and
Those are
took
the
us took
best.
us to glory. That was the best.
Brad's was funny. Brad White with Arc Life
Yep.
Fab.
Yep. Well, Brad White.
He he'll be at FabTech, but he'll be working those first couple days, and then he's flying home. He won't be
Oh, then
there
he's flying
to.
home. Oh,
Yeah, he's helping Everlast set up the booth, and then flying home. And I'm not sure
no.
if this is public information or not, so I might have to cut this out.
Yeah.
But Brad quit his 9 to 5 after 11 years and is working for Everlast now as tech support.
Well, good for him. That's a huge step.
Yeah,
Lord
he's
knows that's a
wanted that
huge step.
for a long time. We were talking about uh, when I got that sales job offer and I was considering it. He he was talking about how he'd love to be on salary or just commission,
Yeah.
and he's done his time. He's been in the
Yeah.
industry since he was like 12. He was working in millwrights and shit.
Doing doing stuff that most welders will never touch.
Yeah,
Doing
but the,
X-rays at 12 is kind of nuts, but that's besides the point.
yeah, he's proud of him, Brad. If you're listening, yeah, FabTech's coming up 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember.
I think it's close to 3 weeks or something, but it's coming up fast, man.
I'm stoked, man. I've never been to Florida. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're gonna be down here. Well, I'm already down here. I only got to drive like another hour and a half. Thank God. Lucky me. And then we're gonna be playing some golf. You want to tell them who we're playing some golf with?
Yeah, we're playing with. I think Adam Stemka is still a maybe. Doc Austin Hargett, we had him on the podcast. Bo
Hmm.
Wigington, also we had him on the podcast. Both from Weld.com. Bo hosts the Weld.com podcast. Weld, go check that out. And then Cody Alljet, Sage Country Customs. Cody's story is really cool. We had him on the podcast. That was also one of my favorites. He's had a crazy journey. So we're going golfing with them guys.
Oh yeah,
Should be pretty cool. I've never been golfing before.
yeah. All
Like
PGA golfers are going out. We all got our own clubs. We're not renting nothing, I promise.
like
So
I've been to Top Golf, but nothing other than that.
I mean, long as you hit it straight, you'll usually do pretty good. So,
I
and
don't even
don't
know. I
don't get too close to the ponds. I mean, at the end of the day, you can just fish the ponds at the golf course, and then you'll at least have fun that way. But
I should bring a fishing pole. Can I
yeah.
rent a fishing pole there?
Ah.
No, but should be nice. Yeah, I'm excited to see everybody. We'll be in the Edge Army House. Uh,
Yeah,
22 of
that's gonna
us.
be wicked. Oh my goodness! Shout out to Edge Army for setting up such a cool pad.
Yeah, yeah. We got a Little Mermaid room. We had the choice. So it was like two twin beds in the Little Mermaid room or two twin beds in the Jaws room, and one of them is Harrison Stone, and I can't remember who else. They gave us the choice, and Harrison saw it before, and he chose the Jaws room, which I was pretty happy about because the Little Mermaid room has its own bathroom.
Oh, that's clutch.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, I'm
it's
sure. I don't know if it'll be better than our hotel that we had in Atlanta, but I'm sure it'll
that's
be
hard to
pretty nice.
beat, dude.
That's hard to beat, man. I don't think we'll ever beat that. I mean,
That crap was nice. It was almost
yeah,
too nice though. Like
honestly, because we're walking out of there every morning, it's like, oh, we don't belong here.
I'd probably take a continental breakfast over Chick-fil-A breakfast every morning.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but then again, that's where you learned your love for sweet tea was that trip. So
Yeah, yeah. Because in Nebraska, I mean, we
you got
have sweet
Cane's
tea.
tea. That's it, dude. No,
Yeah,
almost nowhere else has it. I mean, dude, look, this is my morning drink.
I know. I seen that. I was wondering what it was.
A glass. It ain't Budweiser. It's a glass full of sweet tea. Oh man, but no, I don't know, man. Atlanta was fun, but I think Orlando's gonna be even better because we've both grown so much these past few years, met new people, and like I'm looking forward to meeting SS Custom Steel. Was that his Instagram? SS
Yeah.
Custom
Oh,
Steel from
yeah.
down in South Florida. He was probably one of my most inspiring episodes. His story through the industry and what he's doing now. Build custom stainless exhaust for yachts and Coast Guard boats. That one's gonna be fun. I look forward to meeting him.
Yeah. I hope he's going because he was kind of on the fence because it's around his birthday, I believe, and he said he normally takes a crazy trip.
Oh,
But
that's right. I think yeah, I thought he had mentioned like coming like for a day or two. And I mean, hopefully he does. I'd really like to meet him in person.
yeah,
So,
Stan Sherwin. We got to
yeah.
find more guys from New York City. Or I don't remember where exactly he was from, but he was somewhere up there, and his energy was like unmatched. He was
Yeah.
a pumped up dude.
Yep. Just pumped up, that's for sure.
I texted
Oh.
him the other day, talking to him, just checking in. But
And
um,
then I think one of the biggest ones that I've never met before and don't even have a personal relationship for is
oh
Chason Smokes, the
yeah,
guys who build the rocket stoves. Oh man, that is probably the coolest couple on TikTok ever, and just the
right.
stuff they're doing is great. I really look forward to meeting them.
Bo had
So
them on the Well.com podcast, and it was pretty
yeah,
cool listening to that.
and that was like the first podcast they've ever done. So like they had mentioned, they don't do podcasts, but that one did pretty good, and I don't know, the stuff they do is awesome. So I really
Yeah,
like their whole small, not even small time, but small town fab shop just in their backyard, in their shop, and they're running a bunch of guys. I mean, that's a pretty cool operation. You don't usually get to see a whole lot of that. So,
that's cool, and it's in Wisconsin.
yeah.
I wonder how people react to his like accent and
Oh,
stuff in
his
Wisconsin.
Cajun accent? Yeah, no. I was thinking the same thing because like I'm watching his videos. I'm like, dude, that's a pretty strong Cajun accent. Like, but you're not you're not in Louisiana. You're there's mountains behind you and stuff.
And
And then
you
come to
can
find out, yeah, they're up there in Wisconsin.
you can tell it kind of rubs off on her because some of her words
Oh
you can
yeah,
hear a little Cajun
oh
in
yeah.
there.
It's not even quite. Yeah, it's hilarious. And then they're both like champion. They're both team ropers, which is freaking cool. How does that make it any cool for a couple to be a team roping team or a team roping? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they started off with spurs is what they were building.
oh, I guess I didn't know that, huh?
Yeah,
But
that's
rocket
crazy.
stoves are cool, man. I got some material. I'd like to build myself a rocket stove. I think that'd be
I've
fun.
I've been thinking about that for a while, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I got what was it? It's like 6 inch, 3/8 wall square tube. It's massive. I mean, it's freaking huge. And I have a stick of like 10 foot sitting from when I made a hoist, and I really want to turn that into a big heavy rocket stove.
Man, we're putting up a new crane at work in December, but we have to. It's not new. It's new to like the welding building, but it was the laser operator. But his crane now they're getting automation over there for one of our lasers, and it's not going to be fun because the way we did it is we pretty much tore it down and we would put it on a table with casters, and three of us would hold it upright on the casters and move it over to the welding building, which is like this flat and then back up,
And then back uphill.
and it's gonna snow while we're doing it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure of it. It's
That's
gonna be
gonna
in the
suck.
middle of December. Yeah.
Just hook the old taco up to it and tow it over there. Just run a ratchet strap around it or something.
We ended up clamping it down to the table plus three guys because it friggin' tipped over, dude. And I was like, we had a talk with us three right before, and we were like, if this thing goes sideways, don't even try and save it because it's heavy as shit.
Yeah.
And I was the only one that ran away from it. Those two fucking stayed.
I ain't crushing my hands for this job. I ain't crushing my toes. Get out of here.
It
No
was huge,
way.
and the table's pretty small.
Yeah.
Uh, and our forklift gets stuck in the winter like nonstop. So
Yep.
that's also going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, I slipped like I think it was 12 times last year in the winter. Twice at Tommy's and then a ton of times at work. I got a video actually at work.
Oh, security cameras.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip it and post this. Me slipping at work shoveling snow last year.
We can make that our PFP instead. You just like halfway down, about ready to bust your ass.
It was hard, man. I slipped and then my glasses flew off. So then I looked like Velma crawling around on the ground trying to find my glasses in the snow.
Looking for your glasses. All right. So we've talked a little bit about FabTech. Let's talk about work. What are you doing for work? What's current? If you could talk about it, what's the current project you're working on? Because you just
Yeah,
finished the globe, which was kick-ass. You had a hand in
right.
building a kick-ass globe. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but I'm pretty sure you can find it on Bryn's socials. Pretty kick-ass little donation gift they had. And that took years to finish up, right?
Yeah, 3 years from
Oof.
planning to installing. Yeah, three
Yeah.
years. It was originally supposed to be Memorial Day 2023 was when it was supposed to go up, but
Yeah.
that was an insane process. Like we had a lot of trial and error, and now on the on the brochure sure for the welding side of our company it says ornamental and art welding, and Jerry, the other welder at Dramco Tool, was he was like, we gotta get rid of that shit. We gotta
Yeah. No
say
freaking way.
this is not gonna slide because Jerry pretty much did it himself for the first 2 years, and then I came in, and my 1 year is in a couple weeks actually at Dramco. It's crazy. It's been that fast, and I'm not burnt out yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think it helps. You're doing some pretty small run parts. You're doing some pretty cool stuff. I mean, they're letting you put down some nice welds. They're not rushing you like maybe casing Holland would or something like that. So they didn't care what it looked like. It's going on the tractor. It's all right.
Right. I almost got to weld copper the other day, and
Copper, okay.
Jerry, the other welder, is like really familiar with welding copper. He's our guy. Like every couple months, we'll get this run of simple parts for a company that I can't really talk about,
Yeah.
and he does it every time. But Jerry was gone, and one of our tool makers messed up. He machined too much of this hole out, and then he was going to have me build it back up. And I had never welded copper, so I called Jerry, and Jerry gave me some advice and shit. And then the toolmaker that or machinist that messed up talked to his supervisor, and he said, "No, we'll just scrap it. We can make another one in 20 minutes." And I was like,
Mm,
"Oh, great!" Friggin' ruined it for me.
dang it. I've
Yeah.
done a little bit of copper welding just in school. Professor had some copper bars and stuff and was letting us play around with it. It's interesting.
Who let you?
Oh, it was over in Columbus.
Uh,
Professor Lance. one of the other guys who's super. It was super fun. I mean, it's a heat sink for sure. It's like, yeah, not enough heat, not enough heat, too much heat. It's gone. It ran away
That
from you.
that's kind of what Jerry said. I wasn't too worried about that because this shit was
Yeah,
like inch thick.
yeah, then that definitely helps. But it's just a major heat sink. It sucks all that heat in, and then all of a sudden, now it's hot. Now it's ready to go. Now you got to weld. So,
I
but
I tried to call Mr. Wilmus, John Wilmus, and ask him about
John
it, but
Wilmus, yeah,
he
no
didn't answer
kidding.
though. He's like, "Oh, Bryn, I don't want to talk to this kid, man."
Did I tell you? He offered me a part-time teaching role.
Yeah.
It
Oh
was
no,
like
no, no!
20.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, it was like 20 hours a week or something, nothing crazy. But he's like, you wanna teach part time? I'm like, John, I'm in Florida. He's like, oh, that's like you do. Dude, I'm in Florida, man.
I was fishing with Steven the other day, and he was talking about that too, because Steven used to want to be the nighttime teacher,
Yeah,
and then, but he's machining now. He's in college at Hastings, and decided not to.
yeah. Okay, that's fine. But I was interested in it for sure, and if I was living up there, I definitely would have done it. Um, because I think it would be fun to do. Show other people the craft. At least show them how you learned it. So,
Yeah. If you ever do move back up here, which would be cool, by the way,
I
I think.
know.
uh, I mean, shoot, Michael's probably how much longer till he retires? You think 10 years?
Yeah, probably around 10 years.
And then John's probably gonna retire pretty soon.
Yeah, well, he keeps saying that every year. I'm
Yeah,
retiring. I'm retiring. I'm retired. No, no, you're not, John. Shut up. No, you're
I I,
not.
th- I think what's keeping him now is that the high school ended their welding pathway, so they'll
Which
have
which
less high school
helps.
students.
I
Yeah,
mean, no shot at you because you weren't like this, but you had these kids that would come in, and I mean, they ran John around, and they've caused so much trouble for him. And at the end of the semester, John had no choice but to pass them, even if they were shit students. So that was kind of crappy, but because
right.
I definitely saw him do the runaround with a whole bunch of students. And then some students were great. They came there, they got their stuff done, they left, which is all you're supposed to do. So,
Yeah, I was kind of the opposite. I would go in there, get my work done, and then I would try and use as much of their metal as I could to build something for.
all of it. Oh, yeah.
um,
I'm building something, and it's going to be mine. It's going to back, it's going with me. Did that
yeah.
so much, honestly. Well,
Oh,
go ahead.
do you remember Michael? I don't know if I ever knew his last name. But he was Michael. He kind of looked like a giant from Clash of Clans, like redhead, fuzzy, like almost an afro, but he wouldn't cut it that way. But if he grew it out, it would have been an afro. He's a big guy from Kearney, and he was a swimmer. He might have been after you because he
I don't
graduated with
remember
you.
him. No. I
But
mean, I probably remember his face, but I don't remember the name.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I was, I see him at gun shows all the time, and then I walk out the back door of the welding building to go into the main building, and I see him loading up a huge flange. He works for what's that gas company that Northwestern Energy?
Northwest, yeah, Northwest Energy.
Yeah, he works there now, and
Oh, good for him.
I
That's
was
a
kind of
that's a good company to get on with.
yeah. He wanted that bad too forever.
Yeah. That job was offered to both my buddy Parker whenever him and I were going through the program. Him and I were offered that. He didn't want to because he didn't want to leave Litchfield, which is where he lives. And the closest junction was like Kearney, I think. So he didn't want to drive all that way. And I obviously wasn't sticking around. So, but from what they told us and what we learned about it, was actually a pretty good company. So,
Yeah, that's probably the only like pipeline similar thing in Grand
yeah,
Island.
exactly. Anything close to it. So.
Actually, I like Litchfield, dude. The drive to Litchfield from GI is kind of nice, I think.
Oh, I love it, dude. That was my favorite drive. I loved living out there because that's where I was living for the year when I was living out there. I love it, dude. If I could live back out in Nebraska, I would probably want to live in Litchfield. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like Aurora. It's like just small enough of a town, and it's close to Grand Island.
Yep. Or you get places like Aldo where it's just on the outskirts of Grand Island, so you can like drive into Grand Island, or you can stay out of there.
Yeah, and I don't know if you knew about this actually, but Wood River just passed Alda, fucking house blew up.
House
Um,
blew up. Meth
yeah,
lab?
no suicide.
Oh,
Yeah, he let the gas run in his house and put on Facebook, boom.
jeez. Ouch.
Yeah, insane.
That's bad.
Yeah, it was crazy. Then there was a derailment right by Wood River too. That was a couple months ago though.
No,
Not
I
too long
gotcha.
about that. If you drove
Yeah,
by
those
there, there's still train cars like
Oh yeah, because there was
everywhere.
one on, right before Caro there a while back, and that one was crazy too. I mean, cars just piled up everywhere, coal piled up everywhere. Nuts.
Yeah.
So, well, we've talked about FabTech, a little bit of what you're doing. What are you looking to get into? Because I saw a little Facebook post the other day looking to do some welds for sale.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get back into Sidework. I was into it a little bit, but it was more like the custom memorial metal art. Like it was really fun. Like for example, my uncle Alan passed away, and he had just like he was a trucker, and he had just the craziest scrap metal ever. Like huge bolts and nuts and all that, and spanner wrenches that I used to make an airplane for her, like a metal art airplane out of his scrap and tools and stuff. It was kind of just because he was a pilot too, but
Oh, okay,
it was kind of he was like a fourth generation pilot, but it was like memorial art. That's more what I was doing when I was at my parents' house, and that was kind of cool. But now I want to get into custom fab on the side.
for
Like you've
sure.
known, work's been slow all year for me. I'm still on
Yeah,
40 hours, no overtime.
still on for yeah that. Yeah. It pays the
Yeah.
bills, but it don't buy new guns.
Yeah, and the gun show's coming up here in October.
He's
Um,
pinching pennies over here. He's like, man, I need to sell my damn side work. I give you a new gun.
and then at work, we just got a pretty big job that might boost our hours back up for a little bit, hold us through this year after the election. But I've been running a mill for like 2 weeks, dude.
Running the mill. There you go. Hey, that's good training, man.
It's
Even just to know how to
boring, dude.
operate it. I bet. I bet.
Like I, it was a 16-minute cycle time, and it would run 12 parts at once. And I said to my boss, I'm like, dude, I got 15 minutes to where I'm not drying off these parts and deburring them real fast on some sandpaper. You got to get me something in the middle, and right by that mill is where we build some wiring harnesses and stuff. And he was like, all right, start building wires too. And I was like, all right, this is better than just standing there.
Oh, absolutely. And staying ambitious, learning, moving around.
I know
That's
I got
awesome.
my reviews coming up soon, and I think my bosses are a little worried that I'm going to leave because I keep complaining about these hours, man. It sucks. Like I'm
Yeah.
not not very happy with it, but I am going to stay because in Grand Island, I don't think it gets better than Dramco. If you want to work in an air conditioned shop for,
Yeah.
I'd put it
That right
$10
there's
an
worth
hour.
five an hour.
Yeah. And they pay good, and it's cool projects, and like I TIG weld every day, but I don't never would anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna stay, but I think they're a little worried. So I got a line that I've been thinking of for months from the Montana State football coach. He was like, "We're just woodpeckers in a petrified forest, staying busy and looking for opportunities."
I've seen that.
That's what I'm gonna say to
We're
them.
so busy and looking for opportunity. Oh man, that's funny.
But
No, and I think things will pick up. I mean, it's just how it goes. It's the swing of things. Slows down and it'll speed up but yeah, 40 hours a week it may pay the bills, but not much else.
yeah, but at home I'm looking for side work like prototype being like I just told you about. I did that frame for that truck bed tent that guy's one, and he came and picked that up last night. Well, he cut and did all the material. He said he was gonna have like his buddy weld it, and then his buddy said he didn't know he wanted it out of aluminum, and he didn't know how to weld aluminum, so he brought
Yeah,
it here. And because I've let his son like I've known him for a long ass time, but I've let his son like mow my lawn for extra cash and stuff like that.
yeah.
And so he brought it here and was kind of showing me how he wants it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to Dramco. I'm gonna weld it right now for you." And I was like, "Dude, that's so awesome!" Yada yada yada. And then I go weld it up. Like took like an hour. I was on TikTok Live actually
Oh,
welding
really?
it. Yeah. And hour later, he comes back, picks it up. He was just hyped when we did the test fit. Fit great. It's a cool system. I'm hoping he lets me do the rest of the welding work that he'll have on it.
Yeah. How were his cuts? Did they all line up?
No, I have pictures actually. I had to text his son twice because the way it works is it was like angle iron that kind of sits on the inside edge of the top of the like sides of the bed,
Yep.
and he would clamp it on there to keep his trifold cover over or up.
Sure.
And he had cut like way too long on the angle iron, and I was like, okay, maybe this is for his clamps, but let me text him just to make sure. And he was like, no, I noticed that my cuts were off, and so I was like, all right, can I cut the excess off? And he said, yeah. And it was eighth inch wall tubing and angle iron, and so that was pretty cool. His cuts were off, but he supplied his own material. I was fine with cuts. I welded it.
Yeah. Yeah, the
It
cut's not
wasn't.
as bad. I was just curious if he nailed the cuts or if they were off.
No, I had to wipe it down with acetone and clean it up a little bit because I could see where he still had like red marks from his measurements where he planned to cut, and I was like, dang, this is not gonna be fun. But it wasn't bad. There wasn't
That's good.
there wasn't any huge gaps. It was just kind of thin, and then yeah, it wasn't bad. But another thing is he had there was one joint where it was like this, and I was like, dude, I can't even get in there with my push pull gun because that nozzle's so large, and I
Yeah.
can't take that with that much stick out. And so I texted him, and the square tube needed a cap too because it was the one that ran down like this. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, you're gonna get rainwater in this thing, and it's gonna fill up fast. And he was like, all right, let's just leave that. Let's leave that joint open at the bottom there where it's too tight, and then not put a cap, and then it'll kind of work like the drain system. I
Yeah.
was like, all right. Had to grind my welds down on the outside because he's gonna rivet some sort of surface onto it, some sort of material.
There you go.
Man, it was a cool project, cool guy. I was pretty happy with it. Got
There
another
you go.
project coming up. It'll hook up to the guys. He's already got that steel. It's pretty much just holds his cooler on his Jeep while he goes in the river with it. So he just wants it out of aluminum because that shit is heavy. He
Yeah.
dropped it off, and that was crazy heavy. But that's another job. I'm just looking for like small time side gigs, welding. Like we talked about with Doc. Actually, he was like, I'm not welding grandma's favorite knife, and
No.
I was like,
No, not
I'll
welding
take
grandma's cast iron furniture.
I'll take that job right now. I do
Oh
have a
man.
shop minimum, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You have to have a shop minimum at least. That usually weeds out the tire kickers. But oh dude, I can't do the lawnmower decks, man. I have this one company here. They do the rental blow up sides, like the real big ones, that you see
Oh
at the
yeah.
parties. And they have this dolly. It's an electric dolly. It's got electric axles on it. And, these slides are heavy. And they're putting this dolly under immense pressure. It's like every other month they're like, hey, could you fix this? Or hey, now this is tweaked or this is messed up. And they got like 5 dollies. So I just have a rotation of now I'm fixing the wheels on this one. I'm fixing a gusset here, a gusset there. It's pretty funny how that turns out. But that's about as close to lawnmower decks as I get. Dollies.
I'll do the lawnmower deck. I had never even thought like a lawnmower deck would crack that easy.
Oh
Like
yeah,
my
easy,
dad's,
dude. Oh
my
yeah.
dad's cracked not too long ago. You know what I hate? I hate the lawn windmills because they're always breaking and they're so fucking thin, man.
Yeah.
I can't stand those. And
Yeah.
that's the number one. It's my grandpa's friends, dude. It's always my grandpa's
Yep.
friends.
Nobody's a worse client than than your family's friends. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And then let's see what else. I'd like to do trailers. it's kind of perfect right now because this is junk jaunt weekend. Did you ever go jaunting when you were here?
Dude, I never went jaunting when I was there.
Oh my
Never.
gosh. For those that don't know, the junk jaunt is like a statewide garage sale, and they at the gas stations they sell maps of where everybody's at. And dude, I love it. I get tools for so cheap. I bought a belt sander yesterday from a
Oh, no
guy for
kidding.
yeah, for $7, and it's pretty nice. And he was like, I just bought $25 worth of belts for it, and I was like, "What do you want?" And he was like, "I want 50." And I was like, "Would you take $5?" And he was like, "I just bought $25 worth of belts." And I was like, "Then why are you selling it?" Because I already have one. I don't need this one.
Yeah,
And
this is junk jaunt, okay? This is not nice shit at a medium price jaunt. This is junk jaunt.
right, and the rest of the shit he had was like crazy antiques that I mean maybe my mom would think was cool, but other
Yeah,
than that, it was like Roy Tan cigar boxes, just old useless shit to me. So I was like,
yeah.
all right, I'll take the belt sander.
No, we're looking for tools. Looking for tools.
Today is I'm gonna go too, but it's Husker game day, so
Heck yeah.
after the
Yeah,
game.
after the Husker game day, dude. I mean, well, I wouldn't call it quite junk jotting, but I do me some tool runs. I like to fill up the bed of my long foot my long bed F350 with Ellis saws and anything else I can do because I scored that Ellis 3000. I scored that saw and then three roller tables, which were each $400 a piece. I scored all of that for $800, dude. The saw and three tables, dude. I made out of there like a bandit. And that saw, it's got like a almost a 14-foot blade that's an inch tall. I mean, it's a massive saw. This thing's a dinosaur. I've actually been cutting with it all week. Oh, it's freaking great. Because I
That's
have the
sweet.
Ellis 1100, which is like the smallest one they have, and then I have their 3000, which is the size just below their biggest one. And when you put them side by side, it's the funniest thing ever.
That's sweet, dude.
Yeah.
That is a score.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And it was a guy, he was a cool story. He used to own his own welding shop. He had a water jet or sorry, water jet. He had a water table, um 10 or 12 employees, the whole nine. And then he started to do work for Disney World. He would go in at night when everything was closed, and he said it was almost all TIG, it was almost all stainless, and he was welding almost the entire time, like in their kitchens and stuff, or
Mm.
small, intimate, handrails. And he said, Andrew, by the time, at the end of the week, I had less hours and more money in welding at Disney World than I did running my shop. So I closed down the shop. I sold the water table. This is one of the last pieces of equipment I got from the shop. And now I just have one other guy and we go to Disney World at night. We weld for like 4 hours. I was like, well, hell, that's a pretty kick-ass deal right there.
One time I welded one of the fryers at Sonic on
Dude, I remember that. You said, hey man, you been to Sonic this week? I was like, duh, I've been to Sonic this week. Who doesn't go to Sonic like every day? He's like, yeah, I welded their fryer. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
started a grease fire too.
Oh man, did you start a grease fire?
Yeah, it was pretty small. Like we
Yeah, I
kept
mean,
it
it's
minimized.
unpreventable because it is a freaking fryer, so.
Yeah, and I fucking cleaned it with everything I had, dude. I
Yeah,
tried,
yeah, I
and
mean, some of that
that
stuff
was
is nasty.
that's probably the thinnest shit I ever welded. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, dude,
Nah, well,
those
I don't know.
freaking, those fryers are expensive, so you save their ass a ton of money by being able to weld it.
Well, it was just like the grease trap in the bottom
Hmm.
is what I had to weld, and it was filthy as shit. But
Oh,
um,
so you were welding on the grease trap. Yeah, there was no way you were cleaning all of it
yeah,
off. Oh, Lord.
yeah, and I tried, dude. I really
Oh, I
did.
bet.
But yeah, that was some thin ass shit. But it had cracked, and it would have cost them more to get a new one because I think like they didn't make that style anymore or something.
Yeah, that's probably. I
So
mean, they were probably a few weeks out too from getting it.
yeah,
They may be able to order it today, but it'll probably be a month or two before they get it. So,
it was just like a corner crack straight on where the bend was.
yeah.
And is that Tig in the background?
Oh yeah, he's here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come on. Get up here. Get up here. Come on. You don't want to. Come here.
he,
Come on. There he is.
he
He's
rolled around in that paint, huh?
oh, dude, I was so mad. I'm telling you, I was doing a project for a guy. I had just finished building them all, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna paint them now. I'm gonna get a box up tomorrow. They're gonna be out of here. I'm going with my cheap ass Harbor Freight spray gun. Go figure. And it just goes pop, and it blew the seals, and it just sprayed out a bunch of paint all over the grass. I was like, oh well, okay, whatever. I got my money's worth out of this. This thing's done thousands of dollars worth of painting for me. And so I turn around, I go in there, I'm going to set up my bigger paint gun, my nicer one. And then I turn around, and old Tig's sitting there. He's looking up at me. He's wagging his tail. He's all proud, and he is yellow down his whole left side. I mean, from side of his face to his butt, he is yellow. And I'm like, you dumb son of a bitch. Why did you have to go and roll in the one spot where there was paint? Which I guess he thought that looked kind of soothing to roll in the paint, but he was a few weeks before he lost his nice shade of yellow. And in the bench seat of my Ford F-350, it now has a yellow tinge to it because I didn't get him all the way dry. So now where he sits, there's just a little bit of yellow on there.
And right now in Florida, there's a hurricane going on. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Hurricane Helene. She ripped. I mean, ripped up the West Coast. You said Bingo Welds is all right down there, right?
Yeah.
He's all good, thank God. But it ripped up the West Coast and went up. It did a number on, like, you wouldn't know these towns, but Steinhatchee, Cedar Key, Apalachicola. These are all coastal fishing towns, real small towns. And I mean, like, imagine Litchfield on the water. It's kind of like what it is. You got the one bar, the one stoplight, and houses all around it. So it did a pretty good number there. Us here in Ocala, we just got a bunch of wind. My dad's actually still without power, because we're on like the tail end of the power lines there at Dad's house. So if any tree goes down, yeah, we're gonna be without power. So,
Damn.
but it hit pretty good. But here inland, we didn't get it too bad. But I know the coastal boys, they got wrecked. So,
And North Carolina, dude.
and North Carolina, yeah, because you said everybody there from Miss Stacy over there at Edge was showing y'all pictures of streets and stuff, and their creek had risen, or
Yeah.
it would turn from a crick to a creek, right, Bryn? Fucking crick.
It was a couple inches. Like, she had pictures of that too, like couple inches year round forever, and then now it's like 5 feet deep and
Oh yeah,
rapid.
oh yeah. Like it rains enough. Our yard will just have like a steady inch sitting on top of the grass all the way across the yard. Now the good thing is down here in Florida, it just drains away real freaking quick. It'll go down and it'll go away. But I don't know about up there in North Carolina, or in North Carolina or South Carolina.
Yeah, Mooresville, North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina. So
Yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty good. We're just doing a little check in, like a intermission episode. Just
yeah, just a little catch up. Not a whole lot going on, but we both got a good bit of things happening. So
and actually, I want to ask to any viewer out there, you can either swipe up and comment on the Spotify or DM us on at Iron Insight Pod on any social media. If you're like doing similar work to me in a fab shop, have y'all been slow this year? Just wondering. I
yeah,
want to see like if it truly is because it's an election year, and because I never worked in the welding industry through an election before, not in 2020. I didn't.
well that's fair. And come to think of it, neither did I. I was still kind of doing small stuff for myself here and there, but never like in the shop.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear that too.
but
Who
we
else is slowing
appreciate.
down?
Yeah, we appreciate everybody checking in or listening to us checking in every Monday morning at 4 a.m. Check out our socials at Iron Insight Pod, Edge Welding Cups, link in code Brinwelds 10 or 15. I can't remember. It's in the show notes. Everlast welders order through that link for the upgraded Nova torch and foot pedal package. If you have any questions about it, DM me at Brinwelds on whatever. And Andrew.
And head on over to sunleatherworks.net for all your custom welding hood needs and other custom leather products. Thank you so much, guys, for logging on to listen to us jabber on. We look forward to seeing most of y'all at FabTech. And yeah, well, that's all I got. See y'all later.
Thank you.